God, ruler of heaven and earth, we beseech thee to inspire and guide all our counsels and actions, so that we may always walk in the path of justice, love and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace to do only those things that will promote the unity, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria. Amen. Let me welcome all of us to this hearing today. And again, may I also lend my apologies to everyone for striking a little late. As probably you are aware, the plenary is still on, but we have to review and so that we don't keep all of you waiting for such a long time. As we start, other colleagues will be joining us. If I have to wait until all of us are seated, then we'll wait for a very long time without starting these proceedings. And so please bear with us. We'll try to be as brief and as concise as we can in this matter. As I welcome everyone, may I especially welcome the Honorable Minister for being our presence today. We know also all of you here in our present times in your own various ministries and departments. Honoring our invitation, we are grateful. We are here to serve Nigeria, and your coming is also a testament to that role that we all have taken oaths to do. So I welcome all of you. Before we start, as is with our tradition here, we'll introduce ourselves on this side, and then we'll call the first case, and then we'll get an introduction of those who will be presenting on the other side. So may I yield to my colleague to introduce himself.
The chairman, our invitees, our guests, especially the Honorable Minister and Co. My name is Engineer Patrick C. Fellow of Niger Society of Engineers. I represent Imo North in the Senate. You're all welcome.
Thank you, distinguished. My name is Senator Neda Imaso, the chairman of this committee, and I represent Edo South Senatorial District. Thank you again for coming. Clerk, please the first case.
Good afternoon, distinguished senators. Good afternoon, the Minister of State Foreign Affairs. The first case we have today is between Abdul Ibrahim son on behalf of Igwe Nwaokpara versus Federal Republic of Kenya, Kenyan Immigration Service, Kenya High Commission, Nigeria Immigration Service, and Minister of Foreign Affairs. Due to first hearing, the petitioner is present, the Foreign Affairs President, Immigration Rules.
Immigration?
Yes, the left.
I thought this gentleman are from Immigration Services. Huh?
Custom.
Oh, Customs. I'm sorry. All right.
So, Abdul, Ibrahim, is he here? Abdul?
No, but not. Well, it's fine.
That's the
petition.
Where's the lawyer? That petition. Are you waiting for your lawyer or? Please, come and sit on him. I know all of you are from the ministry, right? So you are all not giving the testimony, right? let those that will give testimony. I believe the minister and maybe one of the other persons will see the web rest of America so that others can help with them. Thank you so very much. As I indicated, we have two other senators that have come to join us. May I also allow them to introduce themselves?
Thank you, distinguished chairman, distinguished colleagues, our invited guests. My name is Ernest. I represent Adama South in the Senate, a member of this committee. You are all welcome.
Thank you, Chairman. Our guests, you are welcome. My name is Senator Anthony Abuja, representing from the South Central, a member of this committee.
Thank you so much. Mr. Igwe Dennis, you here? Yes, sir. Are you already on board?
Yes, no. Abdul.
Are you Dennis? That confidence I shall give for the distinguished committee shall repose so help me God.
So can you sit down? Here it says that you have a council who is representing you. See here.
So this way, sir.
This way. Are you willing to continue before he comes? Or
Yes, sir.
can you please let this tell the committee why you're here?
Good afternoon, distinguished chairman and member of the committee. My name is Igwe Dennis, Nwaokpara, a citizen of Nigeria, and also a Nigerian naval personnel. We will serve for 10 years before voluntary discharge. Sometime 2014,
You can put the mic to yourself. Move it.
Sometime 2014, I traveled to Kenya to pursue my greener pasture. Getting there, I went into agriculture in Kenya. I followed the due process, and I was issued alien card. So I opened a company called the Swader Global Concern Limited. It's into agriculture in Kenya. Then I invested in Kenya 100 acres of land in Kajedo County, 2 acres in Ketengela, and 4 acres in the Bassey Road, Nakuru County, and a residential property in the Edenview, Kambu Road, and 4 bedrooms in the Washa, Nairobi, and the functional supermarkets in Kambu Road, Kenya. So in 2017, I left Kenya to Nigeria. So I have a business in Kenya. I'm into exporting in agriculture. So I was our partner, the Kenyan Export Promotion Council, told me there's a procedure before they issue me license. So they now directed me to a partner, an Indian partner that did for the Nwagbo company. So they asked me, there are procedure, have to build a warehouse and do other things, both borehole before they came in with their trucks. So I was doing it in that 2017. So I came back to Nigeria to liquidate some funds before proceed back to Kenya. I don't have any issues in Kenya with immigration or anybody. So I came back to Nigeria in May. I spent 3 weeks here. And I was going back on the 8th. So I followed the international court of Lagos, observed all the immigration process. So I get to Kenya, do the Kenyatta Airport in Kenya. I was stopped by the Kenyan immigration. I was told I'm not allowed to enter. I told them I have a valid foreign certificate. I was issued as a businessman in Kenya. They said I was not allowed to enter Kenya. I asked them why. They said that there's an order from the country, Nigeria. And I told them I just left here 5 hours and 30 minutes ago. If there's any issue, I would have stopped at the airport. Immigration would have helped me not to travel. But perhaps I was allowed to travel. So I get into Kenya and stop. You told me that my country requesting my president in Nigeria. So I was detained for 3 days at the airport. After the 3 days, I was repatriated back to Nigeria. Got into Lagos International Airport and Nigerian Immigration Service.
No, sir, come on, it's okay.
Okay, the Nigerian Immigration Service held my passport, asked me to come to the office. I followed them to their office. So they collected my passport and handed me over to special forwarding unit in Lagos. So I go with them. They detained me for 2 weeks. I was in cell for 2 weeks. After that, they acquitted me. They say that I've not committed any offense. I should go back to Nigerian immigration. I went to my Nigerian immigration, asked them why was I deported. They asked me, okay, I should go out to a print, which I did. They said there's no cause for deportation. I asked them, why am I here? Where's my passport? They said they cannot find my passport. I left it in the Lagos Airport, International Airport. And the process, I was locked up for 5 days there. After that, the general came to rescue me, stood by me, and because I have a shetty. And after that, I was released. At the process, they said I have not committed any offense. Released my passport, they could not release my passport. So later, sometime 2013, I summoned courage, took them to court. I took them to court, so they awarded judgment against them.
Against who?
Against the Nigerian immigration. The court compelled them to give me my passport and awarded 6 million damage. And also compelled them to write to the Kenyan embassy, allowing me to go back to my business in Kenya. So they have destroyed my reputation in Kenya. So I went back to Kenya in 2014. That was last year. 2024, sorry. Last year, when I got to the Uhuru Kenyatta airport in Kenya, I was stopped. I was told not to enter. I said, for the second time, they said yes. I said, why? They said it's order from above. So I came back to Nigeria. When I came back to Nigeria, I have to write a petition to the Senate. And perhaps during that process, I have issues in Nigerian public. The Senate, they are illegal withdrawal my account. The Senate, $1,217,390,000. And Fidelity Bank also, it was 74 million that were withdrawn my account. And my account was frozen for 5 months and 3 weeks without any explanation in that regard. And in the first bank, my signature was forged, and also my check, withdrawal check, was forged. They are withdrawing my money.
See, that's not for us. What you're saying is not for us at all. This issue with the bank, the Nigerian banks, is not before us. It's not in the petition here. And so we have not been able to interrogate that. If you want to discuss that matter, then you have to properly bring it up. But in this petition we have here, it's solely for your denial of entry and the role that the immigration played. That's what we're here. So this other ones you are saying is a digression in my own estimation. So I'll advise you, if you want to bring that up, then you should bring it up again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So continuing on the issue of you being denied entry to the US. Now let me ask you, your passport. Did you ever get a passport?
Nigerian passport?
Yes.
Yes, I have Nigerian passport.
So did you ever get a passport that was seized? Did they return it to you?
Up till now, the passport is still with the Nigerian immigration.
But you said you had a court order.
Yes,
That they should return your passport
they
to
do.
you.
Yes, sir, but they have not.
Did they pay the 6 million fine?
No money was paid.
Were you represented by a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
And so what has it done about that?
They have gone there, gone to the court for that regard, but they say they don't have money to pay. But my passport is still with them. They have not released my passport. Now, without that passport, I will not go to Kenya, because they asked me where is the passport I'm deported with. I told them it's with the Nigerian immigration. They said without the passport, then my case cannot be attended.
Thank you. Are you done? Who are you? Are you his lawyer?
Not really, but I'm the proper person Ebonyi's in diaspora.
Now who?
Proper person Ebonyi's in diaspora. It was from my desk that the petition emanated from.
I can't get it from.
I said I'm the proper person Ebonyi's in diaspora. It's from my desk that the petition emanated from. So I don't know if I can say one or two things, sir.
Did you want to, are you on road?
Not yet, sir.
Put him on.
Thank you. I, Valentine Uzoh, do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall give before this distinguished committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, I don't really have much to say because it has captured it. I just want to say that our hope lies in the Senate because we have done everything as human to compare the authorities and are involved in all this saga. But we were able to get any justice from them. And I'm really pleased to be in this room for this hearing. When the young man ran to Ebonyi State government, I was directed to my office as a focal person. I wrote to my senator here, and that is the reason why we're here. So we're asking the senator, the committee, to help us do everything possible. And it's without the passport, they cannot have access to Kenya. I understand that specifically we didn't mention the offenses of the banks, but those are consequential arising from the injustices that we have implemented on this man. So I'll be asking the Senate committee on this public petition to do everything possible to make the authorities who make laws obey laws. I quite difficult that the court of competent jurisdiction will give an order and government functionaries, disobey such orders. We are heading to anarchy if such things are not acted. So I'll be pleading, sir, that we don't help the young man because I suffer so much. He has plenty of businesses in Kenya. And as we speak with you now, we don't even know the fate of those businesses, $22 billion of dollars. And it's very unfair if it's true that Kenya government will collide or collude with any other person to deprive a Nigerian citizen access to his businesses, legitimate businesses in Kenya. So that's just my submission, sir, that we are helpless and this is our last hope. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. On the issue of the banks, as you can see, they are not here because they were not asked to come. They are not aware of these proceedings. And so we can't even say anything about it unless we notify them and ask them to show cause to come. In his petition, which is the one before me, it's not there. And this is what I consider, or that's what we consider. And if you go down to the prayers, A to F, that was mentioned by any bank or any request that is money be paid back to them or anything of such. So we can't go into it. It's not for us. I'm not saying you cannot bring it out, but not now, not in this form of time. You understand that? Okay. Now I have a letter from Immigration asking us to excuse them for their inability. That's when we come to our general immigration, their inability to attend these proceedings today. Club, this is the second hearing. This is the first. Okay. This being the first hearing, normally we accommodate that. But in the next we will adjourn, and we will adjourn because we need to do a lot more fact-finding before we take any decision. But in the meantime, if you need to bring in the banks, do an addendum more or less, and then we'll be authorized the bank to come. So thank you so very much. So we can sit and wait now. Now we have the first foreign affairs. We invited them to come because your issue falls squarely on international relationships, and is the ministry that handles that at the same for us. And graciously we have the Minister of State who is here, because we asked that she explain to us why this is happening to Nigeria, and hope and do to resolve it. So they are here to throw more light on what they have done on their own part to see how we can bring restitution to the plight. So let me yield to Her Excellency to please talk to us.
Chair of the Senate Committee on I do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall give before this distinguished committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Please, anyone else that will give evidence on this matter, take that oath now, so down bother you again. Anyone else here? All right.
Distinguished Chairman, distinguished Senator Neza Umosen, Chairman of the Senate Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions, distinguished members of the committee, dear present, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to highlight the fact that on the 2nd of July, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs received an invitation to this investigative hearing, and the particular petition that was mentioned was the petition regarding Mr. Collins' Nwagbo against the Russian immigration organs alleged unjustifiable treatment by the Russian immigration administrators after being granted admission, visa approval, and other enhancement.
Madam, I'm sorry. What about the one for the Kenyan? Mr. Collins.
Yes, sir.
Yours is for
Russia.
Russia,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
So we're not discussing that. We're discussing that of Kenya.
Number one is
No, that's number 3. Sorry. Okay, that's number 1 case
Number
here.
one case.
Yes. Kenya. That of Kenya we're discussing that.
Yes, distinguished Chairman,
Yeah.
based on the fact that what we received was this invitation, and also the fact that regarding this, we have requested for our mission in Kenya to provide further details after due consultations with the Kenyan authorities and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs regarding this issue. And as of now, we have not yet been furnished with further details about this unfortunate incident from the Kenyan Ministry of Foreign Affairs and also from Kenyan Immigration. As of now, we are awaiting the communication of further information regarding this event from our mission abroad. So,
Thank you.
the Honorable Minister. You're welcome.
thank you.
Off your mic. Please,
information coming from you is now putting this matter or trying to halt the matter, even though the immigration also they are not in. But one thing is, I don't know. I know I've been our embassy in US. There I was there. I congratulated things because I got there. I wanted to come with my granddaughter, and we went there to get Nigerian passport. No way. Okay. So, and they told me the passport, and the place was like, doesn't resemble like an embassy at all. Nothing more. So I don't think that should be the same case within these African countries. I don't know. If it's so, let us know. But if not, the High Commission there or embassy there, whatever is designated, should be responsive enough that Nigeria, any message from you here is from Mr. President. And they should respond quickly. To get details should be a problem with them. Otherwise, they are not working. I know you will have Nigeria. I know you will have other agents. I don't know whether they can mention something. So they should be in position to give you details as quick as possible. Because I don't think they had too much work. So in that case, we would like to hear from you, please, my sister, that you give them mandates and that's also so date you must receive from them while we are shifting. Because I think I should be concerned. This person is a Nigerian, and we have seen the huge investment. We don't have money here in this country. If that is brought to Nigeria as donation, we must have added a lot to work ethically look these things. And we are hearing of what is happening in this account. We are not discussing that now. So I want to put myself in this position. If the American government should clamp down on my businesses and say I should not enter, I don't know how I will feel. Or even I will not come and see my children and my grandchildren. I don't know how I will feel. So what work for me now come to this place? Give us a date that as we are going to send message to Kenya. Our people there should respond to this so that we'll be able to all of this matter as quickly as possible. While also I know that we give orders for the immigration service because they are it's like they have answers. If not, I don't mean they have questions to answer, but I know they have answers to questions. Why? Such a thing. Why? Because you say releasing someone's passport. If really, but Mr. Man, I hope you have tendered those court judgments.
Yes, sir.
Tendered.
I've tendered.
All right. So, however, now we have to open this matter. I hope that we go to our offices with it and make sure what we have done is well conjugated and we that ways of verifying what know what is surrounding your problem. And as such, we'll be able to know why Nigerian immigration will not release the passport as ordered by the government. So my goal to you is give us a time. This period of time, they must give you information. And not give you something. They must conclusive information. They must sit on and serve under your authority.
Was the case appealed? The case against immigration, was it appealed?
No, distinguished.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Madam, please, just
Thank you, Chairman. You know, as we were hearing the testimony of the petitioner, I couldn't help feeling very bad. And I was just imagining, suppose it were an American that came to Nigeria, invested, going back to Nigeria and wanted to come back and he was stopped. What will be the reaction of the US government? They will go all out. They will impose sanctions on us. You know, but a Nigerian is doing legitimate business and he is stopped from entering the country so that he can continue to recover his investments. It is a bad commentary on the way Nigerians are treated in other countries, African countries for that matter. So like my colleague said, when we give the date for the next hearing, we expect all the parties, including the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to have the information that we require, including immigration, to come here and tell us why they have not released the passport, why they have not paid the 6 million naira fine. We want to have answers to those. Like he said, not questions, answers. We need to have answers to this. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, sir. I can assure you that this situation is a very unfortunate one, and it should be deeply concerning to every Nigerian. Not just every Nigerian that travels and is subjected to these unfortunate circumstances in certain countries. I can assure you, Mr. Chairman, sir, members of this committee, that this aspect of citizen diplomacy has been a charge of this administration, has given the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to ensure that the ministry is able to put in motion processes that will assist it, aid it, come to the assistance of imperial Nigerians, wherever they may be outside the shores of this country. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been adhering to this admonition. It's unfortunate that in certain countries they are rather slow in providing information. When we request information from our missions abroad, we request information regarding the maltreatment of Nigerian citizens abroad, we find that they tend to be a little slow. Our officers visit the host ministries requesting that they furnish us for the reasons why sometimes they detain citizens at airports, or reason why they deport our citizens. And sometimes it takes upwards of 6 months before we get any kind of information. They keep saying that they are conducting investigations into a particular matter. And of course, these are sovereign nations. We can only wait and keep going there to remind them until they furnish us with the information that we require. And I, on behalf of this ministry, is certainly assuring this committee that we will continue to press for them to respond to us within the shortest possible time regarding this unfortunate state of events, and we will get to the bottom of this matter, and we will have information to present before this distinguished committee at the date of the next hearing.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you so very much. Again, let me lend my own voice to what my colleagues have said. It's very unfortunate, and we understand the limitation to what you can do to a sovereign nation. But as a parliament and as a country, there are certain behavior that we should stop tolerating. And one of those behaviors is what is happening to a Nigerian who has invested his time, effort, and money in another country, and for some reason that is not even known to anybody, he's been deprived of going back to assess his fortune that in those countries. And so it's something that we will not tolerate. It's something that we will vehemently put our voice against. And we will also, at the end of the hearing, by the time we hear from immigration, and be able to come to some conclusion as to what really happened, then we'll have a lot to say at that point. We'll have a lot to recommend to the Senate, and for the Senate to take a very decisive stand on this matter. Because this abysmal treatment that Nigerians get outside our shores has to come to an end at some point. And for African countries that we ought to show brotherhood in one way or another, treating Nigerians in this wise, I don't think it's something that we should tolerate. We will adjourn this case, especially to allow immigration to come and tell us why, after a court judgment, they will not even obey a lawful court judgment. 6 million naira fine, the release of his passport so that he can continue his life. And for what I heard him say, he said that it's the country, it's Nigeria, that is making the allegation against him. Is the reason why he's not able to enter Kenyan, according to him. Like that's the allegation against him, exactly. That's what they told you in Kenya. So immigration will have to come and tell us here exactly what it is that they have against you, if any. And if they don't, then they have to put that in writing and see how you go further with that. But like I said, there's not much we can do now. The first hearing, and immigration has written to us that because of the prior scheduled appointment, he's not able to come. We'll give another hearing date, which we will communicate to both all the parties, so that when we come again, we'll be able to address this issue further. All right, so we'll adjourn this case. Like I advised you, if you really want to bring the banks in, then you must furnish us more information on that, so that the banks can be invited to come in the next hearing. All right. So the clerk will communicate to you the next hearing date, and that will be the decision of this case, of this petition, and of this committee. Second case.
Distinguished Chairman and members of the committee, the second case is a case from Deji, Adeyanju, on behalf of Francis Chukwuma, Uzoh, the Ethiopian authorities. This is the first hearing. The petitioner, Deji Adeyanju, is present. Foreign affairs is present. This is the first hearing.
Adeyanju, please take a seat.
whole truth and nothing but the truth. So that's my question.
Francis Chukwuma Uzoh, do solemnly swear that evidence I shall give before this distinguished committee shall be truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Mr. Adeyanju.
He left because he left like because of the time.
Mr. Chairman, sir, I'm a senior associate in the law firm, so I'll be representing my partner.
No, but let me understand. Adeyanju was here.
Yes.
And he left.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. He had an emergency at the DSS headquarters.
Please tell us why.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, distinguished senators, Honorable Minister of State, Nigerians. My name is Francis. I live in Switzerland for 26 years, and I have a business in Dubai and also in Switzerland and Nigeria. It's April 2022, November 6, 2022. I was coming from Dubai to Abuja using the Ethiopian airline on transit.
I'm sorry, let me stop you here. What's the relationship with this?
Ethiopian airline.
What's your relationship with Adeyanju? Are you Adeyanju? Adeyanju is a lawyer. Oh, you are
Yes.
Francis Chukwuma?
Yes.
You are Francis Chukwuma?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, I got it all wrong. All right. Okay. You are Uzoh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right.
So, sir, on 2022, on 6th November 2022, I was using the Ethiopian airline from Dubai coming to Abuja on transit. So when we get to Addis Ababa to continue the journey to Abuja, they said that the flight should continue the next morning. So when we get there, and I asked for my next case so I can be close to the gate. On that process, asking the question, the staff of the airline directed me I should follow up. And at the end, they did not tell us they are taking us out of the airport. I just take my tickets and write TR, which is transit, and give us a paper to write for hotel version, which is I also write from other passengers as well, over 50 passengers. On that process, they took us, they paid for hotel and transportation and took us to the hotel. In the morning, to continue our journey, they came and picked us from the hotel, they lodged us in. On the process, on the airport, I tender my passport and the money and the other things I have with. They asked me how much did I have. I said I have $80,000. They collected $70,000 immediately without any question, without any hesitation, and give me $10,000 I should continue. I said, what purpose? Say because I supposed to give them the declaration in the airport. I said, but I'm not here, I'm from Dubai, that's where I did that, and also in Nigeria. I'm on transit, I didn't even know that I'm going out of the airport because there is no visa, no passport check, no immigration check. They took us from the back. So after arguing all this, they said that I should go. I refused to go. So I insist, if you want me to go, please give me documentation about the money. Then I can leave, then I can go so that I will know where my money is. Or let's go and confirm from the airline, which is inside the airport. They refuse, then I refuse as well. So after up and on, the security personnel now took me to one of their staff and they said that it's the airline fault that they should give me the money. So they give me back the whole money. On process of going, they start speaking their language, they collected the money back and give me 10. I said, no, okay, that place, in that case, please give me documentation of it. So the man found them, they should give me documentation. After giving me documentation of the money, they collected the money and put it in the Central Bank of Ethiopia, which is, I have the receipt here, 70,000. Then they give me 10,000. Say, So I wanted to continue my journey. They said I'm not going, that I should go to and make a statement in police station. I said, what for? But you was wanting me to go before. Is it because of documentation? They said, no, don't worry, go on. When I went there and I asked to write the statement, I collected big to write my statement. They refused, said that I have to do it in their language. I said, I have not speak your language. I can only speak English. So they involved, they said, okay, I should pay for translator. I agreed. So at the end, they said, no, I involved Nigerian embassy. I said, I don't have a number from Nigerian embassy. They called one of the Mahmudu. So the man came, and after 5 hours or thereabout, so he announced all the procedure that I should, no problem, tomorrow they will take me to court. They detained me, I slept there. And they take me to court in the morning without a lawyer. And when we went to the court, they requested for more 2 weeks for investigation, the police. So, and I asked them that I'm on transit, this is my ticket of transit, that this is what happened. So they said that I was smuggling money from Addis Ababa to Abuja. I said, but I'm not coming from Addis Ababa, my flight is from Dubai, this is my ticket, that I'm coming from Dubai. In that case, the judge now said, okay, I should give them $1,900, which is 100,000 Ethiopian bread, so that they can give me house arrest. And I give them the money, which is, I have the receipts, yes, sir. So when I give them the 1,900, they change it to their money, and they give me house arrest to stay while the case is ongoing. So on that process, I go to the airline to ask them to come and tell them that I'm not from Addis Ababa, that I was from Dubai. So they said, no problem, the Nigerian embassy will take care of the issue. I said, but please, just want to confirm, am I from this flight from Dubai? Since I still have my ticket. So after much, they refused to come. So I was pushing up the case. After 21 days, they now come with a forged document and say that that I told them that I don't have such amount. I said, but this is not a form of declaration. This is a hotel voucher. So after much argument, then they said, okay, they have to wait till when the case closed. So we went to court again. The Minister of Justice, after investigation and finally exonerated me from all the case that they should return my money. This is the Minister of Justice, that they should return the money, even the one that they collected from for the bail, $1,970,000. So I went to court. The court returned the $1,900 in the equivalent of their Ethiopian bread. So then the other one, I should go and submit it to the custom. The custom said that the money was in Central Bank of Ethiopia. So after much on, they advised me to run for my life. On that process, I was robbed in front of the hotel when I was moving out. I went to police station to report the case, and the police, and there is a CCTV camera in front of the hotel, which is the police is the one put me there because of the house arrest, for them to know where I am. So they could not be able to find who collected my phone and other valuable things I have with me. So after all this thing, I came back. They advised me to come back to Nigeria to follow up the case. I went to Nigerian Foreign Affairs. I reported the case on 24th of February 2023. Nigerian Foreign Affairs wrote to the Ethiopian Embassy, Abuja, for them to return the money and investigate the matter, and they return the money and pay the damages. So, and they did not do anything. My lawyer have written to them several occasions, nothing. And since then, I also start going to Ethiopian embassy and the airline, airline and the embassy, and the Ethiopian embassy bring a suggestion that I should go back to Ethiopia to facilitate my listing, and collected $195 for them to certify my documents that I've already submitted and I won the case in their place. I should go back to Ethiopia. I flew, I bought a ticket, I'm back to Ethiopia, and nothing happened. So when I continue requesting for my money, so what they start using DSS and police to arrest me. I was also detained here in Nigeria for 4 days. I slept in police custody for 4 days. They put me to not to travel for how many, since until February 2025, the police could not be coming to court in Nigeria, so they removed the court now discharged the case. Sir, I have 4 kids with a Swiss woman who my kids is going to 3 years now. This year will make it 3 years. They have been wanted to come to their fatherland because they have been here with my mother and lived with my mother before. Because of the nature of my business, I have a restaurant and I could not be able because my ex were no more together, so he asked me to take the children back. But since I'm going through this my children will not come. I asked, is it the offense to be a Nigerian? And whatever offense it might be to be a Nigerian, may God make me a Nigerian next time of coming this life. Because this is a hatred. When you have a Nigerian passport, they tag you as a criminal. They tag you as a 419. They could not believe I have a document to back up my business and my money. So all these things, I have lost a lot. My business in Dubai have collapsed. My business in Switzerland had collapsed. Here in Nigeria have collapsed. People, I lost my cars. Container I brought through Dubai from that period was the story. The agent that was supposed to collect the thing could not reach me. And they said my thing, the next thing is giving me a story, the custom this. It's not in this year, but the damage that have cost me, I nearly not, I don't know how to explain this, but...
Okay, I understand your feelings. Thank you. May I allow my colleague to introduce himself?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, Honorable Minister, other invited guests, Senator Ide Dafinone, representing Delta Central.
Thank you, distinguished. Madam, if you have anything to say in response to what just went through.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, sir. I would like to appreciate this committee for conducting this investigative hearing on the petition of Mr. Francis Chukwuma against the Ethiopian government, because this has been a significant challenge in bilateral relations between Nigeria and Ethiopia. Let me just give a brief backdrop to the circumstances that led to this unfortunate incident. Prior to 2022, all international travelers arriving on transiting Uzoh International Airport, Ethiopia, were by law required to declare any foreign currency in excess of $3,000 in their possession. This practice, which stood for a long period of time, led to the seizure of several amounts of foreign currencies and other valuables, such as gold, etc., not just from Nigerian travelers, by numerous other international travelers. This situation, of course, has generated intense pressure and tension as the victims of the money seizures, mostly nationals from African Union member states, have lodged several complaints to their countries, seeking interventions for their monies to be returned to them, as well as on the need to review the seeming draconian Ethiopian regulation. And it is for this reason that a special committee of ambassadors was convened dedicated to solving this subject. After extensive debate on this issue, the African Committee of Ambassadors accredited to Ethiopia resolved to challenge this practice, which was considered at variance with the global practice of a maximum of $10,000 possession without declaration. This was properly documented and conveyed to the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, specifically requesting the immediate review of the law to align with global practices, as well as to refund all those whose monies have been confiscated. Consequently, at the 40th Executive Council of the African Union held in February 2022, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, His Excellency Adeyanju, granted amnesty to all African travelers whose monies were seized by the Ethiopian government at this airport due to non-declaration of the amount over and above $3,000 ceiling as provided by the Ethiopian law. The same Prime Minister granted express approval to the National Bank of Ethiopia to return all the monies belonging to all Africans in the airports confiscated during the course of transit in Addis Ababa. Worthy of note is the fact that out of the 25 Nigerians whose monies were seized at the time, only 15 have been approved for refund. Why? The Ethiopians faced very stringent conditions regarding this refund. They said that every person whose money was collected must present the original copies of the receipt issued to him at the time when the money was seized. Of course, it's very concerning that even those 15 individuals approved for refund, out of those 15, only 2 have been refunded their monies. And it's worrisome, the case of Mr. Francis, who is on here with us today, because $70,000 of his money was seized by these authorities, as he has just stated. Despite the authorization for his money to be returned back to him in 2022, it is pertinent to note that the Ethiopian government have not complied. The ministry and the Nigerian embassy in Addis Ababa have been liaising with relevant authorities at the Ethiopian Ministry of Foreign Affairs to ensure that all those affected, especially Nigerians, benefit immensely from the amnesty. I myself summoned the ambassador of Ethiopia to Nigeria, His Excellency Bassey to the ministry on the 6th of March 2025 to discuss this particular matter. I questioned, of course, why 25 Nigerians out of 25 Nigerians who had their money seized at the time, only 15 were approved for a refund. And why, of course, to date, only 2 people have been paid. This meeting was actually reported in several newspapers and online platforms, some of which some of you have been handed copies indicating this record. And I implored the Ethiopian ambassador to bring up this matter to a higher level for investigation, because it's $70,000 belonging to our citizen is no small amount of money. The Ethiopian ambassador reported that he had been following up the issue of the refund and following up on the situation, and he would continue because our embassy had been tasked with ensuring that these refunds must be made. And once they agreed with me that the approval had been given for the refund and that the money was deposited in the National Bank of Ethiopia, he elaborated that the delay could be due to administrative issues, since, according to him, Mr. Francis had submitted all the relevant documents. when we waited for any update regarding the issue, and we got none, I summoned the Ethiopian ambassador once again on the 16th of April 2025 to ask why he had no information to give the ministry regarding this matter. The ambassador himself provided, to the best of his knowledge, some facts. He explained that there were different stages and decisions to be made to ensure the implementation, noting that the case had been referred to a different ministry to finalize on the decision to be taken on the subject matter. I made it clear to him that it is our hope that they will resolve this matter amicably, because our government was very concerned about the delay, about the long period of time in which this appears to be taking, and of course a situation like this should not take more than a year to implement the directive of the head of government, as in this case. While still liaising with the Ethiopian ambassador, we communicated to our mission in Ethiopia to keep following up with the host ministry in this respect. The Director, African Affairs Department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Ethiopia, granted audience to the Ethiopian ambassador on Friday, 16 May 2025, to follow up on these issues raised during my meeting with him on 6th March and on 16th April, respectively. The Ethiopian ambassador updated that the issue of Mr. Francis's seized funds was progressing, and he disclosed that he regularly followed up on this matter and reached out to his government at least once a week on the topic. The director emphasized the need for a refund, as there was already a directive from the Prime Minister to implement the refund to all the affected persons. And he appealed, according to the Ethiopian ambassador, to make efforts in following up on the situation so that we will have a definite result. And informed that we needed to collaborate more closely to prevent the recurrence of this incident. We have made the point that there is a need for the Ethiopian authorities to fast track, to sign pending MOUs, agreements that would actually address issues like this. And this would strengthen interagency cooperation between our two countries. When Mr. Francis talks about the plight of Nigerians in Ethiopia, it is a topic that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been taking very seriously. As of today, there are over 200 Nigerian prisoners serving custodial sentences in prisons across Ethiopia. It is a very unfortunate situation because several of them have died because they have not received access to good health care. Their nutrition is poor. We have been pressing the government of Ethiopia to sign the draft MOU on the exchange of sentenced persons between Nigeria and Ethiopia. It has taken an inordinate period of time. And we are concerned, our government is concerned about the plight of these inmates in these prisons. And it does pose, by the way, an overwhelming challenge to the Ethiopian government. And we have made it clear to them that there is no better time for both governments to benefit from this MOU than now, because they're spending money, they're spending funds to keep these citizens in their jails. And the families of these citizens have undertaken to cover the cost of transporting them back to Nigeria to serve out the remainder of their custodial sentences, because being in Nigeria will reduce the risk of death and would, of course, offer them a better opportunity to have access to better health care, to have access to better food. We don't eat the same kind of food they eat, and our citizens are finding it difficult. I mean, when you need to see the state of these inmates. So it is something that we're also calling on these hallowed chambers to lend their voice, so that with these other pressures, this MOU on the transfer of sentenced persons between Nigeria and Ethiopia can be concluded, so that our citizens can be brought back to Nigeria alive. We also have other issues with Ethiopia, as Mr. Francis has spelled out here. And of course, distinguished Chairman, sir, you have made that point that our citizens go through a difficult time at their borders. Recently, there was a sudden unilateral suspension by the Ethiopian government of the agreement between Nigeria and Ethiopia on visa waiver for holders of official and diplomatic passports from both sides. And we are now told that the National Assembly needs to ratify this process. We don't see why they are gaining from the bilateral air services agreement, under which their airlines fly to Nigeria how many times, make money, they have no issues with repatriating their funds, their profits. Nigeria does not have any airlines going to Ethiopia. So the only leverage that we have is an economic one. So if they continue to harass our officials, harass our citizens at their borders, I think it's very, very important that we're able to address this issue using any leverage that we know have. We are hoping also that the Senate can lend their voice on emphasizing the need for the full implementation of this bilateral agreement signed between our two countries in 2020, so that the visa on arrival regime can be reinstated. We also have this issue of our citizens in Ethiopia who are stranded. Why are they stranded? The Ethiopian government has imposed a levy of $10, which has recently been increased, only recently, to $33 US per day for any of our citizens that has overstayed their visas. We also are hoping that this distinguished committee can lend their voice by requesting a general amnesty of the affected Nigerians, so that they can obtain their exit visas and leave Ethiopia. Because now they are prisoners. Even though they are not in jail, they are prisoners, because who has $33 every single day? If you have been there for 5 years because you have overstayed your visa, you're required to pay $33 every day for those 5 years. Who can afford to do that before you can actually leave the country? So a lot of our citizens are stranded in Ethiopia. I have spoken to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia about a week ago. I have made this point very, very clear to him that our bilateral relations are suffering greatly as a result of the fact, one, that they refuse to refund the monies confiscated from our nationals. Two, they have refused to sign this MOU. Well, they say they have not been refused, but they are actually conducting further investigations. They have sent in also some amendments they want to be made, but we want this MOU signed as quickly as possible so that our citizens will not continue to die and rot away in their jails. We're also dealing with them regarding the issue of visa on arrival and the constant harassment of our citizens at their borders. These are issues that are very concerning, not just to this administration, not just to our missions abroad, not just to Nigerians who are resident in Ethiopia, but to the families of so many Nigerians that are serving out custodial sentences in Ethiopia or are trapped in Ethiopia and unable to return because they have no funds to secure their exit from Ethiopia. But despite the foregoing distinguished members, we assure the Senate Committee of Nigeria's readiness to collaborate with Ethiopia to achieve a cordial, mutually beneficial relationship and to resolve this issue before us today. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. May I also allow my colleague to introduce himself?
Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, and our invited guests, my name is Abdul.
Thank you, distinguished. Honorable Minister, thank you for your very in-depth analysis of what we didn't even know about that you have brought to our knowledge. We are grateful. I'm really disappointed that a country like Ethiopia, which houses the AU headquarters, behave in the manner that they are doing. I'm looking at the submission here, where we have, since 2023, Nigerians that have been, whose money have been confiscated by the Ethiopian authorities for whatever reasons. And I also heard the Honorable Minister telling us of all efforts they put in to secure these funds for Nigerians. And we also heard that we have over 200 Nigerians, several prisons across Ethiopia. Many are dying, or some have actually died of their imprisonment. You know, I just believe that Nigeria should come out of this brotherly relationship or idea that they have about African countries. If they don't respect us, I don't see why we should respect them. I mean, it's a matter of reciprocity. You respect me as a country, you respect my citizens, we respect you. We have Ethiopian Airlines flying in and out of this country, and we can imagine how much money they make. by that, in that business. Yet, we still don't have our own airline flying into their country. And then when we now fly there, we are treated as if we are second-class citizens in Africa. We are supposed to be the first-class citizens in Africa. It's a shame, and it's something that we will definitely not accept. As a parliament, we will make our voices heard. We will make sure that we also bring it to the attention of His Excellency the President, that what is happening to our Nigerian citizens all over Africa, especially Ethiopia, is something we cannot tolerate. If we have to put our weight down, we think we will put it down. And if what they do to us, we can also do to them, and even more. So, Mr. Adeyanju, I've heard, the committee, I've heard what you have said. We sympathize with you. And I'm looking at this list, you are not even the only one. There are so many of you on this list, for some reasons that we don't know. So, like I said, we will do something about this on the parliamentary point of view. We will take this up in the main plenary to intimate the floor, the Senate, of both of her, so that we can come up with one voice and what we need to do to make sure that this ugly tide is reversed. I don't think it's something that we can tolerate. We cannot, and we shouldn't. Let me yield to any of my colleagues who probably will have something, one or two things to say about this, and then we'll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to observe that many of those whose funds have been trapped are likely to be traders visiting Ethiopia with their cash, or transiting, also for trade, with their cash, and that this seizures have significantly affected their businesses, and many of their businesses will therefore be in a state of collapse. I want to suggest, Mr. Chairman, that we explore the possibility of the government of Nigeria reacting with some sort of sanctions against Ethiopian airlines. They are benefiting from carrying our citizens, not just to Ethiopia, but across the world. And yet, the approvals that have been granted since 2022 are yet to be paid for sums as small as $7,000. This is ridiculous. So I would urge our committee to take further steps to liaise with our colleagues in the Foreign Affairs Committee, also possibly with the Aviation Committee, to see what further steps we are able to suggest to the federal government. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. As a rider to what my colleague has just said, I'm also wondering whether the civil society organizations cannot bring this to the public and talk about it and campaign, about it, and in fact campaign against the Ethiopian airlines, and ask the people to try as much as possible to avoid that airline. In September last year, I used that airline to go to India. If I had known this case, I wouldn't have taken it. So I would urge the civil society organizations to embark on a campaign. I believe they have done hashtags on bring back our dares, this and that. So they should take up this matter, against the Ethiopian airlines, so that Nigerians should try to avoid that airline. If we do, I'm sure they will do something about it. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. by coincidence, I happen to be the Deputy Chairman, Senate Committee on Diaspora and NGOs. My immediate colleague has commented on CSOs and is on the forefront. We are handling such cases under that committee, my knowledge. And specific to Ethiopia, there's a case we did last year of 250 so Nigerian imprisoned in Ethiopia. And I'm sure we pursue that case. Though at a point in time you could see some evidences of some breaches by our own people on some certain aspects, clear breaches, but I think there will be a preponderance of innocence over those small pockets of evidence that we saw. So I'm confirming to this committee that CSOs are also doing their bit, particularly those 200, I think 200, I'm sure it's over 200 of prisoners in Ethiopia, Nigerian citizens in Ethiopia in prison. That their condition is highly deplorable, and they are not being used to come back in on the exchange program on amnesty issues. It was amnesty who are pushing that time. So, but a clear case like this one is pretty clear to know that, like I said, it's very clear economically. Ethiopia could be anywhere, and Ethiopia gives us more, they need us more than we need them economically. If we say we did things like they are doing, they are the ones that are going to be counted. I'm very sure of that. So let's take pride on that advantage too and get these things strengthened through the foreign ministry, a committee like this, a committee like the other NGOs. And I'm sure we are on it. We handle so many other cases in what's the name of this one? Philippines and the rest. Very similar cases. People working there, a Chinese citizen, a Chinese man having a company in the Philippines, going to Nigeria. I think they killed one of them. It was that bad. So all these issues come up. CSOs and NGOs are also on it, I'm very sure. So, but clear cases like this, and then riding on the advantage that Ethiopia leans on us rather than us leaning on them. So we should have the edge. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for allowing me to speak. Distinguished colleagues. First, without boring, I want to try and recap my understanding of what is happening for my own purpose and for those who are going to listen to this. I was a little bit worried when I read the petition and that 70,000 land was seized by the Nigerian authorities from Nigeria. My worry was because of the global money laundering, which requires that people travel to any country with more than $10,000, you must declare. If you don't declare that funds at the point of departure, and you must declare at the point of departure and you declare it at the point of entry for you to allow legitimate use of those funds. That's a global practice. While I was talking to the chairman of this committee, he mentioned clearly to me that the authorities, before the guy left Nigeria, declared that he has those funds with him. Yes, the man declared that he has those funds with him and he was allowed to fly with it through Ethiopian airline. Now, it was in Ethiopia that not that he was meant to stay there. He was in fact, the flight was delayed. And because he cannot stay in the airport, they advised him to go to the hotel. And on his way to the hotel, he was not arrested and the money was confiscated. Now, I smell a rat in that. I smell a rat in that. It simply means that for the Ethiopian authority to arrest that guy and collect his money, they already have information that he has that money. It's not a coincidence. That is where I'm really more. It's not a coincidence. They have idea that that guy has money with him because from the airport to the hotel is when they had him and took the money from him. So they have information. So what I'm trying to say is that the Ethiopian authorities are acting less than honest in their dealings with Nigerians. I want to state it clearly. They are acting less than honest in dealing with Nigerians. And I think I want to put it in the public domain that Nigerians should know that Ethiopians are taking advantage of our Nigerians traveling with Ethiopian airline and going through their country. They are taking advantage of our people. In fact, not only Ethiopia, most West African countries, because we try to play the big brother, they take advantage of us and will do nothing about it. This petition we are talking about has been on for a while. And I do not see any reason why it hasn't been resolved. Simply because they believe what can Nigerians do. That's an audacious statement for a country like Nigeria. So, Mr. Chairman, my senatorial district and my constituents are ready to support you in every action that we take against the Ethiopian airline and Ethiopians. If they do not take remedial actions and give cogent reasons why that has happened. As far as I'm concerned, there's no reason they are going to give today because I believe that they have great knowledge. By international relations, when you fly and you declare your currency at the port of departure, that information is transmitted. It's transmitted. So they capitalize on that information. Why is it that he's the only one? Why is it that he was the only one? There are so many questions that the Ethiopian authorities need to answer. And because it's a country-to-country issue, it's difficult for the Senate to invite them. We are going to exploit diplomatic measures in Nigeria to make sure that Ethiopians address these gray areas. Mr. Chairman, on that note, I rest my case. But I want to say Nigerians need to stand up to defend their own. Thank you.
Thank you, distinguished colleagues. Any more? All right.
Chairman, please. First is just highlight the fact to buttress what Senator Dlama has said. That, regarding most of these people whose funds were seized are traders. And the fact of declaration, if you look at the appendix, you will see that funds below the $3,000 mark were seized. If you go to number 22, you will see that Labaran Ristua 2,500 was seized. So he was actually under the ceiling of the $3,000. Most of our traders who are going to Guangzhou, who are going to China, usually do their trade using raw cash. Most of them experience difficulties when they go to their suppliers to trade, and they're trying to pay for their goods with cards. So they usually prefer to travel with cash. And another disturbing aspect is that we have had several cases of our citizens who have declared their cash at the airport. When they are taken to their hotels, they are robbed. So a lot of the times, our citizens are not comfortable with, because they consider it a risk, they are not comfortable with declaring the amount of money they are carrying at Ethiopian airports, because you could die when you get to your hotel overnight before you come back to board your flight the next morning. So the excuse is that they use that the reason why they confiscate these funds is because Nigerians are not honest enough to declare these funds, and therefore there has to be some sort of illicit engagement attached to these funds. Is not accurate, and our citizens, unless they can guarantee the safety of our citizens when they make known the amount of money that they are carrying, we can't really blame our citizens who travel through Ethiopia and are not willing to subject themselves to that kind of risk. It is Ethiopian Airlines which says these citizens will have to spend one night in transit. And one night in transit, they usually convey them outside the premises, outside the precincts of the airport. So it's their responsibility to ensure that these citizens are not robbed in their hotels, and that even if these citizens are carrying amounts in excess of the designated amount allowed at the port of entry or at the border, they themselves should also find a way to spell out policies that would make those citizens feel secure in that process. So to date, we actually have a total sum of $773,750 US, 12,000 euros, and ETB 69,739 that have been seized from about 25 Nigerians transiting through this airport. And apart from the two that have been refunded, the two out of the 15, Mr. Ferdinand Udabara, who received $7,000 refund, and Mr. Onu Namdi, who received $4,000 refund. The others, including those who have 37,000, over 100,000, have not been refunded their money. And I just want to say that I commend this Senate committee for the stance that they have taken in this respect. Nigerians cannot continue to be subjected to such draconian policies, and we have to find a way of coming to the aid of our imperial citizens who are undergoing very difficult circumstances that have to do with the difficulties in engaging in trade outside our own shores, and they shouldn't be made to be victims of a situation that they had absolutely nothing to do with. So I just want to thank the Senate for their observations and their submissions on this matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so very much. Well, for what I've heard so far, it appears that Nigeria should also have a way of sounding alert to our citizens to avoid certain countries. If this is what we go through in Ethiopia, then we must also let Nigerians know that flying into Ethiopia or flying with their airlines is dangerous. It's a risk that we shouldn't take at all. We must understand that. And we must let Nigerians know. We can avoid Ethiopia. We don't have to go there at all. We can. And so we've heard so much about this. Mr. Chukwuma.
Yes, sir.
All right. We heard so much about this. We know what, again, we heard so much from the ministry of what they are doing to ensure that not just you, but this money that returned to the money of Nigerians are returned to them. We'll aid them, whether in these skies. We'll make our findings, our reports, which we submitted to the full Senate. And this issue is going to be debated and deliberated on again in the full Senate. And when we do that, whatever resolution will come up with will be communicated not just to the ministry again, back to the presidency. Because we need to actually let them know of what Nigerians are going through in other lands, especially Ethiopia. So we'll adjourn this case in the eye. You'll hear from us, you'll hear from the clerk, you'll hear from the Senate by the time we would have deliberated on the matter and what our recommendations will be. Thank you for coming. Do you have anything else to say?
I just want to say, God bless Nigeria and let Nigeria be one and stand for each other.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Having said all that, with my colleagues concurring that that's what we should do, I will adjourn this case in the next case.
Foreigners, yes, is the available. Thank you.
But that was scary. That's not really what you guys. At least this is not scary. Yes, sir. The first 7 times I'm going to we're not here.
Yes, sir.
Now that they're here, tell us again why you're here.
Mr. Chairman, and this Christmas of this committee. Last year, I applied for admission in Chukwuma State University in Russia. June, I was invited for an interview, which July 24th, I was sent a contract form and my offer letter, which I signed and sent back to them. By August, I paid my tuition fee, and invitation was sent to me from the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs through my school, allowing me to enter Russia on the 1st of October. So I completed my school. They said okay, that I should visit the embassy, which I went. I paid for legalization fee and the verification. Applied for my visa and it was successful. I got my ticket, informing my school that I got my ticket to Moscow. They said, okay, I have to buy another connecting flight from Moscow to Chukwuma, where my campus is, which I did. I sent them the ticket. They linked me up to a booty that would pick me up at the airport. So on arrival in Moscow on 20th of October, so I was called in after like waiting for like 2 hours. I was called in the room with one other guy from my flight ticket, both the connecting one. So I reached out to Nigerian community in Moscow. They said okay that I should hold on. My school now reached out to the embassy. Then the customer now called me that I should hold on, that they are with my school now, that I should wait so that they will know what they can do about it. So after waiting there for 2 days, there was nothing. They said that they can't do anything about it, that I have to go back to Nigeria. So on the 24th of October, I came back. So immigration now called me at the airport
they now apologized to me that the letter they sent and my passport, that there was not nothing incriminating, that everything was new, that I have to take a special measure so I'll go back to my studies. I came back through my lawyer. I wrote to the embassy. Since it's a diplomatic case, the embassy did not respond to me. So I met my senator because prior to my traveling, my boss offered me a job in one of the best agencies in Abuja here. But I can't do that because I've gotten my visa, paid my tuition, and only to be sent back at the airport. So I ran back to him and said that the offer is no longer there, that they've closed the process. That I should put up a petition, attach the whole evidence, and bring to him, which I did. So he submitted it to the Senate President and it was referred to this great committee. So it's pertinent to know that I reached out to my school. They also apologized about what happened because they were in the picture, which they reached out to the immigration that they are aware of my coming. Immigration couldn't reply them. So they said, okay, that they have to refund part of my tuition fee, which they did. I reached out to the airline that I was supposed to use from Moscow to children. They said they can't refund me, that I should contact the embassy. So, sir, the first and second hearing was held. So this is the third answer. But I have a prayer to make, sir, on this. My prayer is that through this distinguished committee and the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Department of Legal and Consular Matters, that the Russian Federation be mandated to reimburse me the sum of 10,300,000 naira. The representations I incurred in connection with all internet travel, including but not limited to my visa application fee, flight ticket, and other associated costs. This amount is adjusted to reflect the current economic condition, including inflation and currency depreciation since the time of payment. 2. To tender a formal apology. The Russian Federation issued a formal and a public apology to the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the diplomatic embarrassment, inconveniences, and reputational damage of citizens, which include myself as a result of the action and inaction. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ministry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Our mission in Moscow actually did make a report regarding this unjustifiable treatment that the Russian Immigration Service meted out to our citizen, Mr. Collins Chigozie, on arrival in Moscow, Russia in October 2024. In its report, which is dated 5th of April 2025, our mission in Moscow informed us at headquarters that this incident occurred between the 21st and 24th October 2024 and regretted Mr. Collins Nwagbo was not the only Nigerian involved. During this period, about over 10 Nigerians were denied entry under similar circumstances by the Russian authorities without even notifying our mission in Moscow. According to our mission, these Nigerians had arrived under the Russian Open Doors Scholarship. Our mission also indicated that 15 persons arrived on the 14th of October 2024. 12 of those were allowed entry, whilst 3 of those persons were refused on the grounds that they had no valid reason to be in Moscow, despite the fact that these citizens were in possession of all the requisite travel documents. Our mission in Moscow also noted that on receipt of these complaints from the affected students, it immediately sought audience with the host Ministry of Foreign Affairs to raise its concerns and request for further clarification. We didn't get a suitable response. Rather, they just gave an obligatory promise to follow up with the issue. So in a bid to get the much needed response from the Russian authorities, the embassy had also brought the matter to the attention of the Russian ambassador designate to Nigeria at the time, Andrei Podolyshev, who paid a courtesy visit to the mission in January 2025. The mission noted that Mr. Andrei admitted to being aware of this issue and attributed the cause of the issue to communication gaps between the Russian universities and the Russia's federal security services. And the embassy further stated that the Russian Foreign Ministry has initiated discussions with the relevant authorities on the matter with a view to preventing a future recurrence. We want to therefore inform the Senate Committee, yes, we are fully aware of the incident, and we have been assiduously collaborating with the Russian authorities, and we recently received another communication from our mission in Moscow regarding this incident. Another meeting was scheduled and will take place between officers from the Nigerian embassy in Moscow and the Deputy Director Department of African States south of the Sahara of the Host Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Varich Nikolaevich. And this took place at the headquarters in Moscow. The mission brought to their attention several concerns affecting our consular relations, and we requested an urgent intervention to address these issues. Among the consular-related issues we raised, we expressed concerns and sought clarification on the repeated denial of entry and unexplained detention of Nigerian nationals upon arrival at Moscow airport, despite their possession of valid visas issued by the Embassy of the Russian Federation here in Abuja. The mission brought up again the case of Mr. Collins, and other Nigerians who were denied entry under similar circumstances by the Russian authorities. We also highlighted this very serious issue, which is the fact of the failure of the Russian authorities to inform our mission in Moscow of any such instances, and made it clear to them and stressed that such an omission is a serious one because it directly violates the content of the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, which Russia is also a signatory. In response to these issues, Ambassador Varich expressed his appreciation to the mission for the meeting, and he also acknowledged the receipt of all the note verbals, so many of them, that our mission had sent out on these consular matters, and he also tendered an apology for the delayed response to those verbals. the point he made was that regarding denial of entry at Russian airports, that this denial was not specifically targeted to Nigerians, but they are carried out based on the priority of Russia's national security interests. He made the point that holding a valid visa does not guarantee entry into Russia, and that Russian border officials have full discretion to deny entry to any foreign national without giving detailed reasons. We made it clear also that the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, Articles 5 and 36, require that they give a prompt notification to consular officials in the event of detention or refusal of entry of a foreign national. The fact is that Russian law allows border officials to refuse entry without a detailed explanation, particularly under Article 27 of their federal law, number 114 SZ, which refers to the procedure for exit from an entry into the federal federation. And it lists the reasons why a foreigner may be refused entry. Such reasons include threats to national security or public order, health threats, for example, contagious diseases, any previous deportations, or any case of administrative expulsion, and of course, incomplete or suspicious documentation. But the usual practice actually is that they just cite inadmissibility under Article 27 when they want to deny citizens or nationals of other countries entry into Russia without elaborating further. When we raise the point that these students had their valid documentation and that these students have been in contact with these institutions where they were supposed to be going to engage in their further studies. We were told that in 2025, by the same Ambassador Barrett, that 1,321 Nigerian citizens were allowed to enter the Russian Federation. Out of that 1,321, that only 40 persons were legally denied entry. That is no more than 3% of the total number of Nigerian citizens arriving in the Russian Federation. 3.2% actually in 2024. And they were just saying this really to buttress the fact that, the point we were making was that the approach to Nigerian nationals was a biased approach. So they were indicating the absence of biased approaches to the implementation of border control in relation to Nigerian citizens. The main reasons generally for refusals to enter the Russian Federation are decisions they claim are taken by competent authorities of the Russian Federation not to allow entry into the country, attempts to cross the state border of the Russian Federation, especially using documents issued with changed installation data. And on many occasions, a failure to confirm the purpose of stay in the territory of the Russian Federation. They also informed us that on October 15, 2024, at the air checkpoint across the state border of the Russian Federation, Moscow, a Nigerian citizen, another Nigerian citizen known as Omoegie, and on April 6, 2025, at the air checkpoint across the state border of the Russian Federation, Moscow, a citizen, one of our citizens known as Dlama, N.A., and Asobwe, KC, both were denied entry into the Russian Federation on the basis of subparagraph E of Part 9 of Article 11 of the law of the Russian Federation of April 1, 1993, on the state border of the Russian Federation due to a failure to confirm the purpose of stay in Moscow. So what generally happens is that persons who are denied entry into the Russian Federation are immediately transferred to the responsibility of the aircraft operator for security and guardianship. And they usually decide to send them to the point where the passenger began his trip or any other place where he is allowed entry on his own. Taking into consideration Mr. Chigozie's account, it is clear that he probably just fell under the general ambit which they give, which is inadmissibility under Article 27. We are making the point that despite the fact that they say that refusals to Nigerian citizens traveling to the Russian Federation are not of a protective nature, we have made it clear that this particular citizen was not making an illegal attempt to cross the state border of the Russian Federation. And though they say that the presence of a Russian visa is not an unconditional basis for entry into the Russian Federation, including exemption from the need to undergo verification measures for the legality of entry into the country by establishment of the law, the fact remains that this particular citizen was given a valid admission into a Russian university. He paid his fees. He went through the normal verification processes. And till today, we make the point that this is a situation that is unacceptable to our country. We wanted to get from them a specific reason why Mr. Chigozie was denied entry, and they still continue to make the point that Russian law allows their border officials to refuse entry without any detailed explanations under the grounds of their federal law. So we would wish also for this distinguished Senate committee to lend their voice to this process. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Thank you so very much. Let me allow my colleague to introduce himself.
Thank you, Chairman, and colleagues and invited guests. Sunday Marshall Khatun, I represent the people of Kaduna South Central District and from Kaduna State.
Thank you so very much. Well, we understand how will I say, the handicap of your ministry, because we are dealing with a country that has its own internal rules. But what we are saying that as they apply their rules, they should also do it in accordance to their own laws. And so I heard you say that according to the International Convention, that when citizens are returned, allow or refuse entry, that should be communicated to the mission of that citizen's country in that country. In other words, as a Nigerian, if they are going to be removed or denied entry, then they should communicate that to the Nigerian mission there in Moscow or whatever that is. Am I correct, ma'am?
That's correct.
Okay, and I also heard that in this case wasn't done.
Correct.
And if that were the case, then of course there's a contravention of that law, which they ought to have adhered to, which they didn't. Now, the issue of his school fees that was taken from him and not returned, his tickets and all that incidental expenses that he incurred. How do you feel good about that? I think from one country to the other, can we not, at very least, they don't want him in their country, that's fine. They have every right to determine who enters and who doesn't enter their country. But I also believe that there's a contractual right when they give you a visa and say, come, and then you now appear and they say, no, go back. That somebody has to at least give an explanation as to why that is. Yes, the omnibus law that they have on that section 25 of their law, which says that for whatever reason, whether risk or whatever reason they give, and therefore they can deny people from entering their country, it's within their right. That's very good. But the issue is the visa. The visa, so far, is not a fake one. He applied to go to school there. It was issued an admission, which has not been proved to be a fake admission. He paid money to that school, and the school accepted the money, and the school issued him an admission as a result. With these documentations, he approached the embassy for a visa, and it was given. So it's beyond me as to why now that he has appeared there and said no. Again, it's within their rights, but the incidental expenses, the incidental loss that he suffered is what I'm zeroing in on now. So as a mission, have we had issues like this before? And if we did, how was it resolved?
Mr. Chairman, sir, most of the, I think Mr. Nwagbo was quite lucky that the university was able to refund part of the funds that we paid to the university for tuition fees. Possibly we would have lost a certain percentage of those funds because, in actual fact, it's not the fault of the institution that he was not granted entry. Normally, when we have scenarios like that, the problem is that we advise, our missions abroad usually advise that when citizens are coming to certain countries to study, there should be some kind of liaison between the institutions with the Home Office or Internal Affairs section of those countries. Normally, the country that has rejected the entry of the citizen, unless the citizen itself goes to court, it's very, very difficult to get some kind of redress. Unfortunately, even in the case of Russia, you have to undertake the process within the Russian Federation. You can't go to court. You can't take them to court outside Russia itself. So that's where the difficulty comes. So they will also tell you that they have no obligation to refund any expenses or any expenditures incurred by the citizen in the course of the refusal of the entry. So this is where we have this problem, and the citizen has this problem, especially with regards to Russia. And of course, can the citizen appeal this decision? Yes, the citizen can appeal, but like I said, it has to be through a Russian court or via legal representation. Because the appeal must be filed inside Russia, it's quite a difficult process. If that person was denied access to Russia and removed from Russia. And the legal success rates are very low in this regard. But mission will have to continue to pursue this using consular means and diplomatic approach to see how this matter can be better dealt with. But it will be a good thing if this Senate could also lend their voice to this unfortunate situation with a view, at least, to resolving the matter in an agreeable way, or perhaps offering Mr. Nwagbo another opportunity to conduct his studies within the Russian Federation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Honorable Minister, you are most welcome. When you are talking about citizens liaising with our missions abroad, I'm sure for the short time you spent in the ministry, you are aware of complaints from citizens about the difficulty in accessing our missions. Even for citizens who reside in those countries, it's so difficult because a colleague called me only last week to intervene over a matter in the UK. It's a case of you don't know anybody directly. It's impossible for our missions to render you any kind of assistance. So let's not talk about the ideal situation. Let's talk about reality. Realistically, the missions are not helping most of our citizens. Also, there's the issue of capacity, both mental and financial, by these missions. So, discussing here as insiders, between us and you, is there anything that you can do to improve the relationship between our missions and the citizens over which they are supposed to superintend? Because most of these citizens I'm talking about, I'm talking about the UK now, they are registered with the missions. And yet when they want assistance, the mission is never there. You tell them, oh, we cannot help you. I had an incident that I moved a motion, I had to move a motion at the Senate with regards to India. Right now I have another matter with Russia. So I came in here, I was glad you were talking about Russia. I'm going to move a motion by the grace of God within this week on the same Russia, the way they treat our people. But citizens do not find solace in the mission. So we also need to put in your word instead of pushing it back to the Senate. The Senate is limited. You are the ones that can sanction some of these missions that do not help or comply with international conventions of taking care of our citizens. Then two, I want to ask, when Nigerian Immigration Service, for instance, deport a non-Nigerian for any reason, do they give them reasons why they are being deported? If so, what happens to the law of reciprocity? If they treat our citizens in that manner, why are we sitting pretty and not meting out the same kind of treatment to them? We have them come here day in, day out. Even for the sake of teaching them a lesson, we can also do the same thing. Because we can't sit every time and be whining about a situation that we have total control over. So I want to know first, when we deport citizens of other countries from here, do we give them reasons why they are being deported? And if so, why is Russia not giving this, our citizen, an opportunity of knowing why he's even being returned back to his country, not getting his monies back from school and the money spent for visa? I understand they say, oh, if you pay for visas, fees are non-refundable. But what are other expectations that you bought a ticket? Who is supposed to pay for that? I think it's time we begin to make a statement. We are an independent and sovereign nation. We are not a beggarly nation. Let's show it and not say it. Sovereignty is a verb, it's not a noun, it's a doing word. So let's act like it, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your observations. And I must say, distinguished, that the points that you have raised is, I really can't fault you for raising those points. I say this because prior to assuming my role as a Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, I have worked as an ambassador. The fact is, you asked how can we make our missions more responsive to the needs of our citizens. There is no provision in the budget for consular interventions. But that in itself is no reason where there's a will to protect the citizens abroad. As ambassador of Nigeria to the Kingdom of Spain, I had to set up a rescue mission. The rescue mission of our embassy was charged with coming to the aid in a very timely fashion of our citizens who were being harassed, whose children were being taken away from them and taken into what the Spanish used to call protective custody. The handover, if your child goes to school and has an injury on his or her hand, they will ask, what has happened? Have your parents been abusing you? Before you can say, Bob's your uncle. They come and take your child, hand the child over to a Spanish family. By the time you go to court and resolve the whole matter, when you come back for your child is looking at you like a complete stranger. Your child doesn't want to come with you. Your child is painful for our citizens. For a couple to stand and watch their own child call another couple, mommy and daddy, and refuse to go home with them. So we had to do something about this because it was leading to depression and parents were contemplating suicide. So despite the fact that we have no funds, we had to carve out a system within the embassy itself, which was the embassy's rescue mission. What we would do was that once we had a scenario like this, that segment of the mission would swing into action, gain custody of these children. We tell the Spanish authorities, in Nigeria we have a culture. Nobody raises our children. That child will go back home to a grandparent or a sister or a sibling because our children have to be raised according to Nigerian culture, not Spanish culture. That way, they allow us, we contact the family in Nigeria and we pay and send an officer and the family member with the children or the child back home to Nigeria to stay with their relatives. And we did this for so many of our citizens abroad. Those that we found who were living rough under bridges, this is how we also brought them in and contacted their relatives back in Nigeria and sent them back. So I think the point is there has to be a will. There has to be a will, and citizen diplomacy and the protection of our citizens abroad has to be made a priority, which I think, sadly, for many missions, as you have rightly pointed out, they are struggling with so many other issues that sometimes this issue itself is not given the priority that it requires. So I think that creating specific provision for funds that will be channeled towards consular interventions of this nature are very, very important. And stressing during the retreats for Foreign Service officers that this is a commitment they must make to coming to the aid of our imperial citizens wherever they may be. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much for your patience and for giving us this very, what I consider in-depth analysis of what we didn't know before. We'll make our recommendations. Like I said, I can just imagine the handicap that your office suffers. Again, lack of funds, which is going to be part of our own observations and what we're going to advise that should look into. We also look about this country-to-country relationship that seems to be one-sided. I don't think Nigeria is getting a fair share of that relationship, even when we talk about African countries. It's been very unfortunate. Madam, thank you for coming. We'll make our recommendations to let you know. So, we will also make our recommendation, and part of it is possible to whatever that work that your incidental expenses that you incurred, should be refunded to you. So, you'll hear from us, you'll hear from the club. By the time we make our recommendations and see where we go from there. All right? So, we will adjourn this case sine die, and our recommendations will be made known to all the parties. Thank you so very much.
The case number 4 is from Dr. Onyete Jen Odo versus Nigeria Customs Service, MCS. This is the first hearing of the matter. The petitioner is here. The Nigerian Customs Service is present too.
Customs Service,
Nigeria, case number 4, Customs. Yes, doctor.
I, Donatus Oga, do solemnly swear that evidence I shall give before this distinguished committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
I, Emmanuel, do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall give before this distinguished committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. I do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall give before this distinguished committee shall be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
I, Ibrahim, do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall give before this distinguished committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Again, thank you for your time, especially for, as you can see, sometimes the case can take longer than you think because of the nature of it. And so that's the reason why we are still here, just on number 4 case. Thank you again for your patience. My leader, member of this committee is here. Let me give him the opportunity to introduce himself.
Thank you, Chairman, and my colleagues. Also, the invited guests, the public that are here. My name is Uzoh. I am Senate Minority Whip, and I represent Enugu. You're welcome.
Thank you. Dr. Uzoh. Dr. Uzoh, yes?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Please tell us when you're here. Sit down, just sit down.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Honorable Chairman of this committee and the Honorable Senators, members of this committee. Our appeal to this committee is simple, and it is a function of what took place in 2019. In 2019, Dr. J. Onyeche Odu imported a car through an agent. The car was impounded by the customs at the Ebute Odo in Ogun State. And the importer, the agent who imported the car, gave an information to Dr. Odu that the car had been seized by the custom at the border. He only came with the key of the car and handed over to her. Immediately, steps was taken and an appeal was lodged with the Nigerian customs for whatever reason that the car was seized, that the customs should consider to give them the first right of refusal and let them do what was necessary that the agent did not do. On that, an appeal was lodged to the customs on the 24th of June 2019. By 30th July 2019, having read the appeal, the custom invited her for an interview. And the interview took place. She honored the interview on the 19th of August. And after the interview took place, nothing was heard any longer from the customs. And further, in July 2019, as a follow-up to the appeal, a further appeal was lodged with the customs to please look into the merit of the application. Of course, again, the custom turned a deaf ear. And we know what the custom particularly will want to do at this point. Normally, they want to go to court by ex parte, filing an application ex parte, and then act, in line with the provision of their law. Again, this is an opportunity for us to also make an appeal to the honorable members of this committee and perhaps the whole Senate, that time has come in Nigeria that we should look into making laws with respect to ex parte motion that does not afford the person against whom the motion is taken to be able to put up a defense. Mr. Chairman, sir, our appeal this afternoon is contingent on the fact that 4 million naira was lost in the course of this act. And even if the custom had the right to do what they claim under their law to do, that the custom ought to have considered the fact that an application had been lodged before them, an appeal had been lodged before them. They had invited somebody to come and speak on the appeal. No decision with respect to the appeal had been taken as to whether or not your appeal had merit or it doesn't have merit. No such communication was done. And when it was necessary to invite the applicant, they also wrote a letter inviting the applicant to say, please come, let's hear you out. I believe there will be merit in it for the custom who invited the applicant to come to also be able to write back to the applicant and say, your application is accepted or your application is not accepted. That decision was not taken as fundamentally wrong. And of course, whatever law under which the custom operates, their law is still subject to the laws of Nigeria, which is the run-on, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is on this note, Mr. Chairman, that we humbly approach this Ethics Committee of the Senate to also come to our aid and maybe impress it upon the custom if they can also, on this ground this evening, accept to say, okay, because of your appeal and because we have made a mistake not to have responded, whatever decision we have taken concerning the car, we own it up, and then we are going to make it up. And it is part of the prayers we made that in the event where they have done untoward to the car, that the custom should also consider to give us alternative. Dr. J is a medical doctor. He's out of the country. That's why I'm here. I'm here in acting in my capacity as her solicitor and standing in her place to make this presentation before this honorable committee this evening. And so that's the simplicity of our application. Thank you.
Thank you. Just turn up the microphone. Thank you, sir. You are ready to say?
Yes. Distinguished Chairman, distinguished members, I'm the father to Dr. Genon Eche. When this vehicle was impounded, we went to the controller in charge of that particular place. The vehicle was parked in his house. About 2 or 3 controllers kept the vehicle there. All they asked us, there was a time we flew from here, they asked us to come and pay the duties so that we could get the vehicle. On reaching there, their office in Kenya, I was told not to pay anything, that they were making, that they wanted to sell that vehicle themselves. I had to fly back with my daughter on that very day. When the money was paid through Austin Harbour, through First Bank, the agent told us that he was going to bring the vehicle from Lagos, not known to us. It was based on that we made appeal that whatever was the case, we were willing to pay the duty. Because they had other intention, they couldn't get back to us until we found it necessary that we have no money to go to court and there is no way we can compete with customs because it's an institution. And that is why we deem it necessary and we are appealing that we know we have confidence in the Senate and then we have wrote this petition to the Senate President and then he has directed this committee. And whatever decision you take, we abide by it. And our prayer is very simple. We have no money to go to court. Let customs pay that vehicle for us. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Officers, welcome. Again, let me thank you all for your patience, waiting patiently until the case is called. What do you have to say to the petitioner?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and other distinguished senators in the committee. My name is Adeyanju, Deputy Controller General of Customs, in charge of enforcement, investigation, and inspection. Let me first of all tender apologies on behalf of the Controller General who actually prepared to be here last Thursday when this meeting was scheduled before it was scheduled for today. And he already had another commitment for today, that's why I have to stand in for him. To lay a foundation for my response, I want to bring to the notice of this distinguished committee a section of the law that guide our operations, and that is the Nigerian Customs Service Act of 2023. I want to bring to the notice of the committee section 46, which talks about the forfeiture of goods improperly imported into Nigeria. I will read section 46, subsection A. Okay, I think this section is from the law that we are using before the new one that
took effect in 2023. And the section says, except as provided by or under this act, any imported goods, being goods chargeable with a duty of customs, are without payment of that duty, landed or unloaded in Nigeria or removed from their place of importation or from any approved wharf, examination station, customs station, or customs area, or any goods are imported, landed or unloaded contrary to any prohibition, or any goods being goods chargeable with any duty or goods the importation of which is prohibited are found, whether before or after unloading thereof, to have been concealed in any manner on board any ship or aircraft or any vehicle, or any goods are imported concealed in a container holding goods of a different description. What I'm trying to say here, Mr. Chairman, is that customs have the power to seize any goods that is considered to be smuggled into the country. Having laid this foundation, I want to make a submission which we have already presented to the members of the committee. On Friday, 21st of June 2019, officers and men of the Nigerian Customs Service, Ogun 1 Area Command, acting within their lawful mandate, intercepted the aforementioned vehicle along the Kuti Oja road on reasonable suspicion of being smuggled into Nigeria, along with several other vehicles. Excuse me. Do you want to read out these things or the letter to the end? I'll just speak to it. Don't need reading it out because we have to. Oh, okay.
Speak to it.
What I'm trying to say is that when the appellant was putting forward his claim, he said the doctor imported a car. I want to say clearly that that car was not imported, it was smuggled into the country. And that was also alluded to by the appellant herself in her petition on paragraph 3. She said, I have purchased the said vehicle through an agent to whom I made full payment, inclusive of money for custom duty. I had no inkling that the agent didn't pay appropriate duty. That establishes the fact that the doctor knew that the agent did not pay duty and that that car was smuggled into the country. And it is the responsibility of customs to seize such cars. The appellant also talked about the appeal made for customs, whether she can be made to pay duty. I want to state clearly here that when people make appeal to customs that they want to pay duty, approval of such appeal is the prerogative of the Controller General, depending on the circumstances surrounding such seizure. And I would also want to point out that in most cases, goods that are deemed to be outrightly smuggled are not given the benefit of paying duty. Like this particular case that we are talking about, that vehicle was brought in through the border, through unapproved routes. And there is clear intention that it was meant to be smuggled. Ordinarily, the person who brought this petition is not known to customs. The person that is known to customs is the agent who smuggled the vehicle. And that person is nowhere to be found now. And after seizing this vehicle, customs followed the normal procedure that needed to be followed before the vehicle was auctioned. Customs took the vehicle to court for condemnation, and after condemnation by the court of competent jurisdiction, the vehicle was auctioned to even a government agency. It was auctioned to the Federal Ministry of Power, and all the records of that auction are attached to the submission presented to the committee. I would like to stop there, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so very much. I just have, this committee is not your regular court. And I'm sure you know that already. We are very informal. What we show here is the human face to every situation. human face. I have taken time out to read, not all of it, but some pertinent paragraphs here. And clearly, the petitioner has stated that she, unknown to her, the agent whom she paid to import decided to keep part of the money and then smuggle, try to bring the car through other routes, which, as we see, run foul to the law. How long does it take by the time a car is seized from when you now auction? How long does it take? And within that period, as in this case, there was definitely a relationship or a conversation between the owner of the car and the customs, for which a panel was set up and they were to appear. And for what you also said, that depends on the prerogative of the Custom General as to whether or not she can then pay the full duties to the car. I know that sometimes it's a matter of penalty or punishment for infractions such as this. But outside that, if someone found, especially in this case, someone found that the agent deceived her, and so whatever the agent did ran foul to the law, and then she now wants to make the restitution to pay now, so that custom can have, because I'm sure what custom wants is not really the car. It's pay the full restitution what you're supposed to pay, and then cash release. So why would custom not consider, if not in this case, in other cases, why would they not consider some route rather than have somebody suffer the full weight consequences of certain actions that would have been taken, not because they ordered that action to be taken, but because an agent did something that he or she was not supposed to do. I mean, like I said, you quoted the law, your procedures, all that you do, I can't fault it. But like I said, this is not the law court as you know it. This is a committee. We represent the people. And so it's the human face we try to see here. Is there something we can do now in this situation? Talk to us.
Let's see, I'll just take you to answer all of them. One pertinent question that he asked was to actually let us know the time from when the car was seized to when it was stopped. Because it seems this particular case, Custom was very quick to just auction the car. Because we know some vehicles seized by you stays there for years. And I don't know if this one stayed up to that extent. Also, in fact, I will have started by telling you whenever you come here, don't apologize on behalf of your CG. We've known you for somebody who does not, who feels too big and doesn't obey authorities. But we'll get back to that. He is known for that. So don't apologize, just come and represent him and we will move on. You also mentioned that the doctor knew that she purchased, knew the vehicle was smuggled. So you know, we are representative of the people, and we don't like to stand by the truth. The person you said knew the vehicle was smuggled was also the person who put in the letter she wrote that she paid unknown to her that this vehicle was smuggled. And you are saying that she knew the vehicle was smuggled. She also stated that she even paid money covering customs to that person. Another point I want to raise, why you said that the CAC house of custom was where the vehicle was parked, and that is there why would seized vehicles or seized properties be stored in someone's residence? Is that, can you also state in the law that you go there, where it says that if you see something, the custom officer will take it to his house and keep, and not keep it in customs premises, official premises. They carry it to their house until when they auction it from someone's house. For me, Mr. Chairman, what I noticed is that they didn't even put a human face to this. And this person even offered to pay penalties, custom duties for this. And it is your prerogative. And he says it's a prerogative of the CG whether to approve. And if we check, there are some that they have approved to pay duty. Why is this particular person's own so different that we are too quick to auction the doctor's car? Even went in her letter, acknowledged that she didn't know that the person who smuggled this vehicle smuggled it. Finally, did you in any way make efforts? Because it's also your duty to stop smuggling. So you failed in your duty and you allowed vehicles to be smuggled into the country. Then you now hold Nigerians who are innocent, who didn't even know how vehicles are smuggled. You hold them liable and sell property that they suffered with their hand-earned money savings to buy and sell it off and put the person in problem. While you yourself allow the border to be porous for people to bring in smuggled items. Even if you have considered that you failed on your duty by allowing the people to smuggle, you will have used a human face to see that a doctor who is not a smuggler, a medical doctor, is that? Yes. Who is not a smuggler, took money she saved, paid to a smuggler which you didn't catch. Well, you now allow the Nigerian to suffer for what she didn't know. Obviously, I'm sure she does not know that this vehicle, and she even offered to pay duty. Just enlighten us why it has to be like this. And also throw more light on why you are using the staff of customs house and officers house to keep vehicles that are small. You see that your own yard is not big enough to keep those things. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Please go ahead and respond.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, let me clarify the fact that we did not auction the vehicle in our hurry. The vehicle was seized in the year 2019, and the date on the auction paper is May 26, 2023, clear 4 years after the vehicle was seized. Then the issue of the vehicle being kept in somebody's house. In this particular command, the official residence of the area controller has a very big compound because the government warehouse is inadequate for all decisions to make. So in the compound of the official residence of the area controller, 6 vehicles are parked there. If you go there today, you will see thousands of vehicles in that premises, and that is the official residence of the area controller. And that is what we call constructive warehousing. When there is no enough space in the government warehouse to keep goods, we warehouse them constructively. And that is what happened in this case. Distinguished Senator, you asked whether we are making any effort to stop smuggling. Sir, you will agree with me that it is out of our effort to stop smuggling that has brought us here today. If that car had escaped to the owner, that means we have not stopped smuggling. But because we tried our best to stop smuggling, and that is why this particular car was arrested at a point where it was being smuggled into the country. I think I've addressed all the questions.
Sorry, thank you. Now, the point of my colleague's comment on that allowed the smuggler caught the car, he didn't catch the smuggler. This is the case, right? In this case. So, in other words, if you catch the car, you didn't catch the smuggler, and Have you stopped smuggling? Because tomorrow you will head anywhere at another border. That's so for it to be effective and final and be result oriented, is catching that person, not only catching the asset, the car, which is this case. So this is not saying you are not doing effort at all, but if the final point is not there, which is the person, and which is more important to your war against smugglers, that's why you catch that person. That's why you will help smuggling. But if you are catching only the asset, the person go catch asset, the person go. Tomorrow you will be in another border. That's what he meant by. He's not saying you are not working. You understand? But when you catch the asset, catch the person, then it will complete. Can I respond to that?
No, let me add my rider so that you can combine it. Thank you, Chairman. I just want to comment on the timing. You know, I know when my leader talked about rushing, said, he showed that no, he didn't rush to sell. The vehicle was founded in 2019 and was auctioned in 2023, 4 years. Just coming back to this human face of the thing. There was enough time to have resolved this, in favor of the person who actually was importing this vehicle. Although, of course, you say it's not importing because it's smuggled, But there was sufficient time, 4 years, before you auction. And this person has been appealing. And one would have thought that if you are looking at it with a human face, you say, okay, this is the duty, and if you are going to put penalty, this is the penalty, either you pay it or we auction. But 4 years and then you auction. So there's no human consideration there at all. Thank you.
So, officer, I hope you understand where we are going with this. To follow up on what you just said, you said the vehicle was founded in 2019 and sold in 2023. And within that period, they appealed to you to please revisit this issue because we were unaware that their agents smuggled the vehicle. When indeed they paid for the vehicle to be brought in legally. 4 years is also enough time for the Comptroller General to exercise his morality. Apparently, he didn't exercise it at all. And that's the human face that we're talking about here. Because if you know what it takes for somebody to save up to be able to buy a vehicle in this country, you know that it's something that everybody takes very seriously. And so, let's look at this again and let's see what can be done. Again, we are still talking about the human face. Because I still believe that there's something that can be done here within your powers that can bring about a restitution of some sort to that. I'm sure there's something within your power that can be done. We know enforcing the law is important. We also advise that when we do so, we should consider all circumstances as in this case and see where we can be humane in the way we exercise this authority.
Thank you, sir. Talking about the human face, as I said, it is the prerogative of the Comptroller General to allow people to pay duty on goods that have been arrested. But in this case, we are talking of outright smuggling. And I know the circumstances that made the Comptroller General not to approve payment of duty on this. It's just as the distinguished Senator said, that we were able to arrest the vehicle, but we could not arrest the smuggler. Well, there's not something that we call abandoned seizure. When somebody who is bringing in a vehicle knows that he's smuggling in the vehicle, so it's always at alert. Anytime he sights custom officers, he abandons the vehicle and he runs away. And that happened in this case. But what could have helped this case with the owner is for her to produce the agent. This is somebody she knows very well, somebody that she has paid money to. I'm sure during the time that she was invited for interview, I'm sure she must have been told to produce that agent. If she had done that, I'm sure the Controller General will have allowed her to pay duty, while the agent will be held responsible for his action. And I think that did not happen in this case. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, sir.
Yes.
I don't know if I can be permitted to respond.
Sir. Mr. Chairman, sir, respected members of the committee, I wish to add that in 2016, President Buhari issued an executive order which will be effect on the 1st of January 2017, banning importation of vehicles via the land border. This vehicle was intercepted at the Oton Road, which, with all due respect to the doctor, establishes the fact that
is that in Nigeria?
Yes, sir. This is Ogun State.
Opposite, sir.
So, does that establish smuggling? It's already
yeah, without
so if you see with the car here in Bassey, assuming the car was smuggled, and I'm driving in Bassey, it's already in the country.
That's a border area, sir.
So that's the border.
Yes.
All right.
And with due respect, it establishes the fact that with all due respect to her too, that she has knowledge of the activity of agent.
How do you prove that?
Yes.
But how do you prove that?
How do we prove that?
That she has knowledge.
How do we prove that? She should produce the agent. When she produces the agent will give evidence by way of statement to the service.
Did you at any time ask her to produce the agent?
Yes.
Did you? Yes. You have verbally writing by
during an interview.
During an interview
with the service.
Okay, go ahead.
We understand the fact that we should apply the human face with Chairman, sir. But like my DCG said, when it comes to issues of smuggling, the service has zero tolerance for it. If we allow it, we are condoning smuggling. I rest my case.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, go ahead.
Like I said in my preamble, again, we have been told that this is not a law code, which is true. But then, you are our representatives that are making the laws in Nigeria. And for somebody to make a reference to an executive order that was ordered in 220, if I listen to him carefully, in this country, I think it was under the military that law was backdated to now affect the person committed the offense even when the law, not the offense not committed when the law was made. And that was what brought Owo and was sentenced to death in 1983. But that is not the situation we are in Nigeria. If you're saying that smuggling is an offense, the custom is not a court to themselves to now say, I can now prosecute and also sentence. If a person has approached you and said, Mr. Custom, this car you seized, I am the one who raised the money and gave to the person who acted the way he acted. Please, can you consider to grant to me amnesty? Let me pay what you ought to pay, and then give me the car. If it is true that the offense committed is a crime, then the custom ought to have taken steps to prosecute the criminal in court, which they didn't do. Now, the custom had 4 years. Within 4 years, we filed 2 applications. Dr. Jane filed 2 applications. and they never responded to any of the applications, only to come before this panel today to say, well, we condemned the car and then gave it to a ministry. For me, it is that the cockroach will never find justice before the chicken. That's the situation of one that says. Now, if they had gone further to now advise Dr. J and say, Dr. J, yes, we have listened to your petition before us, you appeared before us, and we are satisfied with your appearance, thank you for appearing, but our law handcuffed us that will not be able to act in the way and manner you want us to act. Mr. Chairman wouldn't be here, then we would have thought, okay, that is the law of Nigeria. But the same law that the customs are applying are laws that are subject to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which says if a crime, before you can say a person has committed a wrong or an infraction or a crime, the person must be found guilty in a competent law court, which is not the situation here. I do not know whether the military character has so permeated the behavior of the customs that they do not also look at the other side of the law, that the person you are arresting is also entitled for a defense. Now, if I have raised the money and I appear before you and say, okay, I will not who raised the money and pay to your certified agent because he said he recognized the person who is running away now as an agent of the custom. So because custom normally issue them certificate of agency, perhaps. Now, that is not the situation before this honorable committee. And our appeal is simple. If the custom can still look at it and say, okay, well, we don't want this thing to continue haunting us. Dr. J, please come. Let's look for another condemned vehicle. And then give the look in replacement, then you pay the duties. Because when you condemn the vehicle and you are auctioning it, the person who is buying through the auction is going to pay duty. So let them be assisted, be persuaded to assist us, because we have come only on appeal. And that's why we extended this appeal to this honorable committee.
Thank you. All right. I think we've exhausted this matter so well. We have both sides. We are going to make a decision on this matter and communicate them to both of them. But like I said, if there's anything the custom can do, maybe I can speak with you privately. If there's anything you can do to at least bring some soup or no matter how to them. If you can advise, you can recommend that to the general as well, so that no matter how they do, to at least bring some respite to them. Just to give you a heads up on what you might do. So we'll adjourn this case, pending on when we send you our reports, which we should be doing at no distant time. So this case again is adjourned to Senegal.
Distinguished Chairman and members, the next matter is from Mr. Ernest Omoegie versus Niger Delta Development Commission. And this is the second hearing of the matter. The petitioner Ernest is present. Niger NNDC is not present.
do solemnly affirm that the evidence of a guilt before this distinguished committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Sit down. Mr. America, thank you for coming. I actually did this petition. NNDC called me, I think yesterday, called me yesterday. I think they are important to know wherever they are for some program. And the understood begged that we should give them an adjournment. But outside that, I'm still talking to them to see how we can resolve this issue. But at the end of the day, it's the resolution that we're looking at. So we'll continue to work on it. But I'm going to adjourn this case to give them an opportunity to show up the next time. I know this is the second time? The second time. The second hearing. He excused the game is project because I'm aware of what they're doing in Port Harcourt. So I couldn't really call them that much on it. But like I said, at the back channels, I'm also talking to them and see how we can resolve this issue. Alright, so allow me to adjourn this case. I will get back to you on it. And if we can resolve that case before the next hearing, we'll also let you know. But otherwise, we'll adjourn this case for now. Alright? And so my club will communicate to you in the next hearing days. Alright, go with us. So this case is adjourned until the next 7 days. Thank
The
you.
case number 6 is a case from Dlama Samuel, that's the Nigerian police force. The petitioner Samuel is present. Nigerian police force is present too.
Hi, Samuel. You solemnly swear that the evidence I shall give before the I, Ibrahim, do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall give before this distinguished committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Is this someone here?
Yes, sir.
Have you already gone through?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please tell us where you're here. No, is it the first or second hearing?
In the 5th year.
This is the 5th hearing?
Yes,
Who else going to be coming?
The Nigerian.
Why?
Which I want to my name is Dlama Samuel. Actually, what happened was that when I was serving in Borno State, I applied to complete vision in 2013 September. I applied for a casual to travel to my hometown, Chigozie, Adeyanju State, for a very serious family with the elderly son of my family. My father's death, my attention was very, very big. So the leave was granted to me, and I traveled to my village. Few days after, I left my hometown to return to the village. So on my way back, along Gambua Road, then there used to be Nigerian army that used to escort all the commercial vehicles and the private vehicles to Djibouti. So when we go there, the road was blocked by the Nigerian army. That there was an exchange of fire between the Nigerian armies and the Boko Haram. So we could not pass. We slept there till the following day. So we are expecting to be allowed to pass. But later on, we are still informed that the Boko Haram planted bomb on the road. So until they disconnected all the bombs before we will be allowed to be escorted to the people. So until the following day. So as a result of that, I spent 2 good days there. So after everything, I now reported to my place of work. On my report, my depot now ordered for my detention for good 7 days. Even before I was detained, I complained that I was not feeling fine. But we did not consider that, so I was locked. In cell, I took in that I even fainted. So I was rushed to the hospital. I was brought to my hospital where my NHI is, as Kenyan hospital in Igwe. So I've been in hospital for over 1 month, almost 2 months. I've been in hospital receiving treatment, and the treatment was not successful. As a result of that, it was my nephew that was actually taking care of me, and she was schooling in the University of Igwe by then. University of Igwe by then. So they now communicated with my auntie, who was by then was based in Kaduna, and based on my health condition and who was taking care of me, she was also engaged in an exam by then. So my auntie now communicated with the hospital management that I should be referred to Kaduna so that she would be taking care of me there. So from there, we took a charter of car. We drove to my division, and my DPO was aware of the situation. Even by then, actually, I wasn't myself completely. So now, my DPO now approved my leave. So we drove to Kaduna, as for Nigeria, and reference hospital. So I've been there receiving treatment. After about 3 weeks in thereabouts, my station officer now called to inquire about my health situation. Then, when he called, I wasn't the one that talked to him because I was constantly coughing. I was in the intensive care. So he spoke with my auntie. And the next time he still called out, I think it was around November time. So he said that he wanted to talk to me because my leave now expired. I was expecting maybe they hospitalized me, I don't even know, because I wasn't myself. But that my people say that if I did not return or report it, that the report, I mean that the book came absent from duty. So he now said that he wants to talk to me in person according to what my auntie told me then. So I was talking, he was talking to me, I was talking as well, but I was constantly coughing. So I couldn't continue with the conversation. So my auntie now referred him to the doctor, they were communicating with the doctor. So I've been in hospital up until March. I received an information, a call from my colleague that they have declared me a Zaka and dismissed from service, even while I was still in hospital. So I was still in hospital up until August 2013 before I was discharged from the hospital. So after I was discharged and now returned back to Deji, when I got there to my place of work, the then people was transferred. My ASOS was still the station officer. So when he saw me, he said, why am I here now? When they were calling me to come, I refused to come. told him that, are you not aware that about my health situation? Is it not the same station that granted me before I went for hospital treatment? So I said that you cannot help me, that maybe I should go and appeal. So then I lost my mother around September. So I could not even continue with the appeal. But thereafter, I have been applying, I've been appealing to so many channels. The appeal was not successful. Up until I followed, I got an assistant to former Senator Abu. He followed up. He even met IG concerning this case, and IG responded. I have it here. IG responded that this case should be taken care of. But up to the date, there was no action. So I was opportune to meet my senator, President Senator Reverend Honor, because he's the one that helped me, and this case is here now. I've been coming here, it's been 3 times I've been coming, and police have not been coming. So this is my problem.
All right. Thank you so much. Officer, please come to your response to that.
Mr. Chairman, sir, distinguished senators, members of this esteemed committee, I am CSP Mohammed Idris, Office of the First Provost Marshal, Nigerian Police Force, representing the Nigerian Police. Well, sir, to the best of my knowledge, we received this petition from the Senate on the 20th of June 2025 for a hearing on the 3rd of July. That was last week. And we came, we were told that it had been shifted to today. So when we received this petition, we immediately swung into action. We sent a letter to Borno State Police Command, where he last served before he was declared deserter. And right now we are awaiting response from the Commissioner of Police, Borno State. That will avail us the opportunity to know what actually led to his dismissal from the force. So because of that, for that reason, we are still awaiting response from Uzoh State Police Command. We here by plea for more time so that we can get the response and peruse it, and then we can come back and give this. Yes, sir.
We will oblige you. But before we do so, I want you to, I don't know if you have in your possession a letter from the Office of the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Department of Finance and Administration, dated 7 February 2022.
I don't have it yet. 7 February.
What about, there's another one, another letter.
Signal.
For 91230. Clerk. So, do they have this? They have, the officer have this? Do they have this? You don't need the one from show them. There are two. So, there are two. Better to show. There's one dated 7 years. Go back. Go back. Yes. There's a letter dated. There's a letter dated. Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
There's a letter dated 7 February 2022. Show him that letter. Do you have it?
No, sir.
Or perhaps seen it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll give you a copy.
Yes, sir.
Read that into record. I want to hear you read it. From who to where? It's from the Office of Inspector General of Police to the Deputy Inspector General of Police. It says find attached here with a copy of the letter dated 1st February 2022 with its attachment received from Senator Chukwuma on the above underlying subject matter. 2. The Inspector General of Police respectfully conveyed directly, say that the police should deal, D-A-L, what's the outcome of that letter? That's 1. 2. I don't know, we're obliged to another date, but you must answer those questions. The last one is the wallet message from the provost to the office. Your office. Right?
Sure.
Okay, it says, PC Dlama Samuel Grateful forward my orderly room procedure investigation report, appellant Smith Y7 appeal for interpretation determination and treat as very important case. Did you treat That's 21. What was the outcome of this wireless message?
Well, sir, like I said,
it was from you to compose DFA. And I'm sure, okay, let me see. I'm sure this was in response, to that letter of February 7th. See, I'm sure it's in response to this letter. But in any case, we will grant you another date, but we want you to please don't come back and say you didn't have any more information.
We will not do so, sir, because we have this letter, this sensitive now, we have, when we receive this particular petition now, we have sent it to Borno State Command, and once that report comes from Borno State Command, we will treat it.
Yeah, but if this was sent to them since 2021, you are then 2025, you are still waiting?
I'm sorry, sir, I was not there. I don't
know. I understand that. The office is there, the office didn't move. So there's always record. Somehow, somebody has not done anything.
Obviously.
So, we haven't obliged you, but you must give us response to these inquiries and many other facts that you have. Alright?
Yes, sir.
I have questions for you, but I'm going to wait until those other ones come. So I'm going to have everything together on this thing. Alright? Yes, so we'll adjourn this case on the next adjourned date for the police that have sought for an adjournment for them to provide us with further information that will aid in the investigation of this case. We'll therefore adjourn this case until necessary day, which will be communicated to both parties.
The next case is case number 7. Case number 7 between Ekong on behalf of Sergeant Ekpo, the Nigerian Police Force. In the first hearing of the matter, petitioner is present.
Well, petitioner. And the job police force too? Ah. Ekpo. Sergeant Ekpo Bassey.
I'm Matthias, I'm his counsel. Matthias.
Oh, right, counsel.
Yes,
okay, yes, you are for Ekpo Bassey.
Yes.
Where is Ekpo Bassey?
And he's not feeling well. I regretted him.
All right, tell us what it is.
Thank you, distinguished chairman, distinguished members of the committee. Sergeant Ekpo Bassey was originally attached to Owerri. He was working at Owerri, but he was on a special duty at Oka with 4 other policemen in the unit. And Sergeant Bassey went to a nearby provision shop and he got a sachet water. And while he was sitting down to take that sachet water, 3 young men entered the shop. They pretended to buy something. When that happened, he went back to duty post and he reported to his team leader. So his team leader took him to the CSP at the Onisha. And immediately he was detained. That is from 17 to 19 December 2017. And he was further taken to State CID Oka and was further detained. And in 2018, he was taken for an ordinary room trial. And after the trial, he was informed orally that his engagement with the Nigerian police force has been terminated. So he was informed orally that he has been dismissed from the service because he was unable to account for the rifle without any formal legal side effects. He requested for a formal legal sir. No letter was issued to him. And the case and the appeal of our client, Sergeant Ekpo, that he was granted permission by his team lead. It was not the case of the election of duty. He did not just leave his duty post. He was granted permission after 24 hours duty. And there were eyewitnesses that he went to get water to drink while those people pounced on him. And then carted away his rifle. And that is the reason why he was dismissed summarily from the force. So our client is before this distinguished committee to appeal most passionately for the committee to join their voices to appeal on his behalf to the Nigerian police to please consider this matter on a very passionate ground, looking at it with a human face, that he is a family man with children, and since this incident he has been appealing to the police, moving from one command to the other, all to no avail. Please appealing to this committee, please come to his aid as his last hope. Please appeal to the police for him to be reinstated into the Nigerian police force. That is the most passionate appeal of our client for this committee. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Officer, please, your response.
Mr. Chairman, sir, distinguished senators, again, in this case, we received this petition for the first time from the Senate on the 20th of last month. And we have sent letters to the Commissioner of Police, Imo State, where he served last before he was dismissed, so that we can get the records that will make us make an informed submission to the committee. So again, sir, we plead for more time so that we can get those records. And then we proper shape to make our submissions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so very much. Petitioner Council.
Yes, sir.
You know, the issue raised here, in our opinion, will demand that your client be here. So we need to speak to them. We need to ask to decide what happened. This is not a case that can be done on his behalf. So he needs to be here. On the side of the police, there's a letter dated 3rd July 2025 from the Office of the Inspector General of Police. And it says that the Nigerian police, having gotten this mail from the Senate, has taken action by sending a letter to where the appellant last served before his dismissal. The expected response from his last command will provide the actual reason for his dismissal to confirm or dispel his version of the story. Based on the above, the request for time for them to enable to provide this documentation. I have that letter here. Alright, so we will adjourn this case for this reason and for the reason that we need the client, your client to be here, the petitioner to be here, so we can interrogate him one-on-one, because this is a serious case. We are talking about unable to account for the rifle that was assigned to him. We need to know what happened, because we are all talking about safety. And so safety is everybody's concern. So we just can't treat this matter as if it's a different matter. So your client ought to be here. Therefore, we'll adjourn this case until the next adjourned date, which is going to complicated with both parties. This case is adjourned. Yes. This case is accordingly adjourned.